Ian is also an adoptee who grew up as an only child. At 48, Ian and his wife have decided to find out if he has any living relatives. Today, he's being given access by social services to his adoption file. It's the first time this file has been opened since he was adopted, and it will reveal information about his past.
What am I going to find? It's a bit like the X-Files, you know, there's this cobweb-ridden sort of file, and no one's sort of looked at it for 47 years. Is my birth mother still alive? It's going to be very surreal for me to look at this.
Well, let's look at your file. What they write about her here is very little, but that's also not very unusual. And what they're saying is that she herself was 22 when she had
22?
you. Yes. Is that older than you expected?
Yeah, it's probably a bit,
yes.
just a bit.
She herself had been brought up in a children's home.
Good grief. Because
her own mother was not married, and the way it's written here is that her own mother abandoned her. And then there is a bit of news that you might not have been expecting, that there was another baby before you.
Good grief. So at 22 she'd already had a child? Was it a boy or a girl, do you know?
I think it was a girl. I think because at some stage it says here, he, but in the official application...
That is a shock, that, isn't it?
Yes.
So straight away you've got an older sister on the planet.
He took it quite well, but I think it won't quite sort of sink in, won't quite hit him.
That is really, you know, the second child. 2 years. It does say there, doesn't it? It does say girl.
When she said Ian was a second child, it really did throw me, because I really was not expecting that at all. You know, you just presume that he's the first one, you know, perhaps you couldn't cope, you know. But it really did. I was shocked.
Once you open the door, you can't go back. You can't pretend you don't know. And, you know, it's just got so many consequences and affects so many people that you can't predict, really. You just have to be aware that everybody around you will be affected.
We've had a phone call from Angelica today, which gave us some information on my sister, which is very, very surprising, really. Once again, we now found out that she also tried to make a search, which is great. So that's some information that I'm very pleased about today.
Plus you was interested about all the medical side of your folder as well, weren't you?
The medical side of the folder annoys me. I had a terrible situation where my young daughter was very badly ill, and I was asked a point-blank question by the surgeon, and he asked me at the time, is there any sort of family history that could help you make a decision on saving my daughter's life at the time? And you can only but look at the floor and shrug your shoulders. You know nothing. There's nothing I could have said to him whatsoever. And that's the one point in my life I was very angry, because I felt at the time, my daughter died, and I felt, was there anything else I could have ever said to the surgeon that could have... I don't think there was in retrospect. I was very saddened by that. And when I opened my folder and found that there were some medical questions inside there, there was some tests, and there was some information that stated that there was no hereditary illnesses that they knew of at the time, and there was some information in there. And no matter how small or how, you know, trivial it may have seemed, at that particular point in my life, when I was at the lowest ebb ever, with my daughter seriously ill, I feel like you've got a right to know this information.
Hello, darling. Happy birthday.
Ian has never kept his search for his birth family a secret from his adoptive parents.
After my parents are not on this earth, shall we say, apart from the family I've created myself and my children, I've got no other links on earth to anybody. And I certainly would like to find out that there is some roots available for me. The first child, now 2 years of age, and in brackets, girl. And when I first saw that, can you imagine the shock, you know, because I could not believe, because I didn't expect to see that kind of information. When you think you're the first one for years, and imagine your birth mother to be really young, And that's why she gave me up, because she couldn't look after me, and the circumstances we can only but just presume. And she was 22 years of age, so what was the beginning of her life like?
She's had no life.
No.
None
That's
at
what
all.
I said to you.
And-
I don't blame her for having 2 children, because when you've lived in a home like that, you've no love, and the first person that gives you love, you'll give all to. Here we go. It's Ian's 48th birthday, and when we wake up in the morning, we say, "Happy birthday, darling."
Yes.
And then I always think of his birth mother, because she obviously would be thinking of him. Well, we feel she should be.
There we are.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
We knew full well that we weren't going to be able to have children, but we'd made up our mind virtually shortly after we were married that we would try and adopt.
Thanks, Dad. You're welcome. Thanks a lot. Wow, I've got to make a wish. Can you help me?
How the years fly by.
2, 3. Oh.
Well, they had told us that he had brown hair with auburn tints. And when they brought him in, I'm afraid my reaction was, oh my God, he's ginger. He had the brightest red hair I'd ever seen in my life. He had spots all over his face. He was a right mess. But we just picked him up and that was it.
Yes.
There was just no question about it. Colour, hair, spots and all. We were going to have another child, but we couldn't. And so he grew up an only child, which we didn't really want,
No, we
because
didn't
we're
want,
both only
yeah,
children, and all our family have only one child. So it's a very, very small family. And we felt that he was sort of deprived of something, you know? But it didn't happen. Now it has. It's exciting, isn't it?
Whilst Ian's parents always told him he was adopted, other adoptive parents can go to great lengths to keep it a secret from their child.
I think I was about 20, and there was a bureau. And in the bureau was all the documents for everything. So, of course, being a human being, and a female one at that, I decided to look all the way